Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 and in Bethel Park only on Comcast 7. I now know the answer that on Comcast 7 throughout the area, thanks Aaron Ward, that everybody else is using that, so we can't get our BP TV show. And I get a lot of feedback throughout the communities. Why not Comcast 7? There it is, folks. And watch us on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook and YouTube. And again, people are watching us all over the world. Had some people from Florida contact me and tell me they were watching us. And even some guys are telling us that they're sending our show to military guys in Afghanistan. So we're everywhere. So shout out to all the military and everybody else watching our show. And thanks to John for being here. We got Aaron Ward and Devin Shays in transit right now. So we're going to put on a great show for you. A lot of sports to talk about tonight. I want to give a shout out to Pittsburgh Sports Pride. If you need any sports gear, go to this website. He's always promoting us, and we appreciate what Pittsburgh Sports Pride has done for us. I think we're at like 1,663 likes. I don't know, we'll have to get something from the control room to see if we pass that up. But thanks for everybody, including Pittsburgh Sports Pride, for liking us and spreading the good word. And he also gave us a 5-star rating, which, thanks for doing that. I don't even know what that means on Facebook, but I'll learn real quick. And now we start with what's on our mind. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Smoking Jim Frazier. And we don't have Chip the Prophet Hayner. He couldn't make it tonight. He was stuck in a business meeting and couldn't get out. But we do have Little Z, Zach Brenner, is here. 2 weeks in a row, he's starting his streak again. And now we go, what's on your mind, Little Z?
Well, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. What's on my mind? I just want to give a shout out to 5 people that started a website called FaceyBros, FACEYBROS.com. It's a great website. It's for all your entertainment needs. It has all kinds of great little shorts, sporting little clips, all kinds of bloopers, great funny movie reviews, book reviews, all kinds of stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to them. If you could get the shirt, John, please.
You know what? It's a big shirt. You don't even have to do a close-up on that one.
Okay.
That was
good.
nice.
Thanks, Al.
Hey, I want to give my co-host here a shout-out. John, can you get a nice, decent look of that head of his, please? I want out of the shot. Now, there's the handsome young businessman, hardest-working businessman in the area. If you need to make a call, hold it. Get back to me here. Here's who to call. With that face, how can you not call him up to handle any job from A to Z on a house? Because Z's the man. All right, enough shameless promotion.
Jeez.
What's on your mind about sports now?
Well, what's on my mind now is I want to talk a couple minutes about Tomlin Gate. It's well documented that Coach Tomlin decided to daydream out into the Jumbotron during the Ravens and Steelers game on Thanksgiving, only to catch himself at the last second and jump out of the way and inadvertently cost the Ravens pretty much a touchdown. Well, my thing is to the Ravens and to Mr. Jones is I would have just ran Mike Tomlin over, and I would have sent like a huge message, shockwaves through the world, you know, to get out of the way and don't try to pull a stunt like that. So hopefully it costs Tomlin 6 figures and it doesn't cost the Steelers a draft pick, because as Smoking Jim Frazier knows, we need every single possible draft pick that we could get. And that's what's on my mind.
I want to revisit that. We'll go back on that in a couple minutes here. Thanks, Little Z. I got to interrupt right now. Smoking Jim, sorry. I was at the Galleria handing out magazines and talking, you know, do what I do best. You know, this magazine's going out everywhere. People were taking pictures. Well, I met a nice couple right outside the theater there. And they were sitting in the massage chairs, and you know me, I give them a magazine. Do you like sports? The husband likes sports. Right away, the nice lady, Sally, goes, "What do you think about Tomlin? Did he know?" I said, "Yes, he knew." I said, "Here, I'll even walk the same way he did." She goes, "No, that couldn't be true." So I said, "Watch our show on Verizon 32, and you'll find out tonight." So shout out to Bob and Sally there. Thanks for taking the magazine, and Tomlin's guilty. Smoking Jim, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got
Chip.
the C. Levine.
Thanks.
But also what's on my mind is a little bit of Coach Tomlin as well. It seemed to be hitting the news nationally. he's going to get fined at least $100,000. And I have to disagree, Lil Z, even though we'll revisit that.
That rhymes too.
Taking a Steeler draft pick away is doing them a favor the way they draft. So, but Coach Tomlin's on the 9-member committee for the NFL rules committee, and he knows better. And for him to really come out and say that this is something that he practices all the time, you got to stay off the white. The sideline in the National Football League is different from college and high school. It's about 3 foot wide, and it runs the length and down. And for a fact, Al, that is for the referees to run up and down.
Right.
And one of the officials actually had to pull a Barry Sanders to get around Coach Tomlin. But that's the way it goes. But and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But I just what's on my mind actually is the Seattle Seahawks.
Whoa.
And I tell you what, after watching that game last night, it reminds me of how football used to be, where home field advantage made a difference. Seattle's totally different at home. The enthusiasm they play made me think about 2 players. And it's a shame in college football and pro football. I don't think so much in high school and midget league. But these guys have a hard time getting up for one game. And my theory has always been about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is so successful during regular season because every game that Peyton prepares for, he prepares like the Seattle Seahawks prepares when they're at home or a Monday Night Football game. And the only other guy who was like that I ever seen was Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert prepared for a game, whether it was a preseason game or whether it was a Super Bowl game, he played with the same effort. And that's why I believe that Peyton Manning fails against Florida, against, the big playoff games, Super Bowl games, and why he never won a championship in high school, because there's levels of enthusiasm in the National Football League. The speed of the game changes from preseason to regular season, from regular season to Monday Night Football games, from regular season Monday Night Football games to playoffs, and from the playoffs to the Super Bowl. And Peyton Manning can never raise his game because he plays at that same level each and every week. And the other teams that he plays against just seems to get better, and it hurts him in the playoffs. But shout out to Peyton Manning for the way he prepares. Shout out to Jack Lambert for the way he prepares. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks, the 12th man. And thumbs down to Heinz Field. They blew up the wrong stadium. Wish Three Rivers was still here. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Uncle Jim. I might want to revisit. You covered so much territory, buddy. You got me interested here. Well, what's on my mind, I got to delay it another second. As I was delivering these magazines, there's a restaurant near me, DeLallo's, right down from South Hills Village, and I've been in there numerous times. So I come in with my magazine, just walking in like innocent Al here, and there's a nice waitress, host. She goes, "Oh, do you want one of these pizzas that we have? You might want that today." I go, "No, I just need to talk to somebody about a magazine." So I meet the owner's daughter, Livy, and she goes, "What's this magazine?" I go, "I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine." She started to smile. She goes, "My boyfriend watches your show all the time.
Wow.
Wait till I call him up." So I go, "Could I just leave a few magazines?" She goes, "Yeah, we can't really put them out. We don't have the space." So she texts her boyfriend. He's in Columbus. Gets a picture with me to show him that I was there. I had to put an autograph out there, which, I don't autograph. So I autographed it. And then, I coined the phrase about 2 degrees of separation, right? So Danielle, who's the hostess, had said, "Why don't you have a slice of pizza?" Well, needless to say, I did have a slice, maybe 2, and some water with lemon. Here, listen to this. One of the union guys that I was with over the years, his name is Jim Lowen. That's her father-in-law. she married Jim Lowen Jr., and that's what a small world it is. And she goes, yeah, do you know maybe my father-in-law? And I said, yeah, a long time ago. So how about for that, a close, small world it is in Pittsburgh. And that's my word to Joe, one of our biggest fans, Livy, Danielle, and the Lowens there. Now, what's on my mind, I'm not talking Steelers. What about Penguins? They're playing tonight, right now. Go Pens, beat the Islanders.
We have a hockey team?
We got hockey here in Pittsburgh. Gino just won second star of the month. He was just had a great month. Even though he wasn't scoring a lot of goals, he's back. He's like a point-making machine. So we do have Penguins here. If you're depressed about the Steelers, all right, I'll mention a little bit. They could win 4 in a row. I'm a firm believer. You know, I predicted 11-5. 10-6 didn't happen. 9-7. That's the revised thing. We can do it. Let's see what happens. And that's what's on my mind. Now, our next segment is we revisit what's going on. And I wanted to revisit with Little Z first with his Tomlin gate, whatever that is. Well, did you ever see a guy that wasn't guilty smile like he did at the end of the little play on national TV? And this only happens to losing teams. Because look what happens. They take your eye off the ball. We got offensive linemen, we don't even know who they are right now. Velasco filled in. He did a great job. He was playing all-pro in place of the all-pro Pouncey that we lost. Now who's the center? I don't even know. Look at the linemen there. We got soft linemen that Smoking Jim was roasting over the fire for the holidays. They're marshmallows. They're toast. They're gone. Now what do? Can we win? Yeah, we won a Super Bowl or two with linemen that were even worse somehow.
Because of Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, that's what I'm getting to is Ben plays like people say he's had such a great year. But how about when he was fumbling and throwing the ball away? He wasn't so good. But now he sees what a $100 million quarterback has to do because he sees Brady and Peyton and all the guys he's been playing. He's played like the $100 million quarterback that they signed. And that's what I had to at least bring up about what Tomlin was doing. Because look at this. Do we even know the Steelers are playing the Dolphins?
Yeah, we do, but I also think that Ben Roethlisberger has never had the benefit of the offensive lines that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady have had. Same with Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. You know, it's
you're
like
just bringing up what we've talked off
But it's
air.
a mainstay though, where they actually, you know. And I want to say something about Smoking Jim. Smoking Jim Frazier is supposed to be in the war room on these drafts with Mike Tomlin and company. So clearly, like, I don't know if they're not picking the picks that Smoking Jim wants to pick, but Smoking Jim Frazier is in the room when these calls are being made and these gentlemen are being drafted at the podium.
Hold it. I got to defend my friend. He puts on a chalkboard soft. He sends a picture. It's soft. He's in there. What's he eating?
He's in there eating
He's
a steak.
eating a thick steak.
Yeah, he's in there. He's eating the steak.
That steak is not soft.
So for heaven's sake, at least have some influence. And, you know,
He did have a little bit. This year, I'm betting all on him, like the Steelers are. They're all in on
we
Smoking
need
Jim.
Smoking Jim Frazier to buckle down and watch game film of college players and go out there and maybe go visit Africa and parts far east and see what kind of players are out there. You know, we need some Samoans, anything to turn this team around. Because like
I'm all for the Samoans.
Like I said, we need some better offensive
American
linemen.
Samoa is the furthest place away from us in this country, so I don't know if Smoking Jim will be traveling.
Hey, as long as he gets out of God's country, man, that'll be all right with me.
I don't know. He's been wandering around pretty good. And then he brought up about, what'd you mention? Peyton Manning, Jack Lambert. I think there were a couple other guys that prepared for one game at a time like that. Look at Joe Green. What about him? It looked like it was his last game every time he played, right? I mean, I'm thinking there. But here's what bothers me. You brought up Three Rivers Stadium. I think the bowl was the greatest shape for a football stadium ever.
Yes, sir.
The sound stayed there.
You too kidding me?
When Three Rivers, if you were at Three Rivers Stadium, that place, it reverberated through the concrete. Everything was shaking. The sound stayed there.
That place was horrendous.
How old were you when you were 3
beyond
years
this
old?
time.
Were you out of your diaper yet or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
believe me. I was in Three Rivers plenty of times, and that place was horrendous.
Where were you sitting at? Way up in peanut heaven?
Yeah, well, now I made it, so now I sit way lower down at Heinz Field, a way nicer stadium.
Yeah, but the sound doesn't stay in there. We got that open end there. And
when that team is playing good and that team is assembled the way that it should be assembled from the draft through training camp, through the preseason, through the regular season, into the playoffs, that place is one of the loudest places. When that team is not assembled properly and they're in the position that they're in right now, that's why you get, that's what you have. We have what you call fair weather fans in this city. That will come and go with the wind as the wind blows. So
you mean they're like front runners? If they're winning, then they're loud and proud.
Correct.
If they're not,
that's just how it goes in Pittsburgh.
Well, then what's the story with Consul? When they're winning, it's quiet that first period or two while they're all sitting down in their suits and everybody else can't get a seat to get in and they're outside on the Jumbotron.
There's a difference between suits and barbarians.
Okay.
So that's what you get. The barbarians, if you're not doing good, they will turn on you.
We're going to have a segment down the road about that special feature. I think we exhausted the revisit what's on our mind because we even expanded it. So I hope you enjoy the show. For all of you first-timers that I said to watch the show, thanks for tuning in tonight. We do another segment. We talk about SIP Sports Bar. That's at 3024 West Liberty Avenue, 15216. That's in Dormont. We had a great cast of characters last night. John, could you do me a favor? I don't know what you were trying to do. It looked like he was doing a stealth move. I wanted to show that photo of Christopher Nix. No, that's the Chief. Can you get on there, please? Yeah, wow. There it is.
Look how great that looks.
Now, this artist, we've had artists on before. He does something unique with putting all these little nuances.
You able to zoom in on there? No, you can't get up real close?
There's stuff in there, John.
There's
you
detail.
Can get it close so it's almost like right in his nose or something.
Keep going. Keep going. That's as far as you can go?
Oh, man.
That's a shame.
He has all kind of different things and statements in there, photos in there.
Hey, zoom in one more time real quick. I just want to show the folks at home. This is a little illustration on the back.
Christopher Nix.
Christopher Nix. If you look, it tells you all the things that go into making the Chiefs' face. Ward Smile, Swanee, 88, 6 rings, Lombardi, Screw Dallas, Yoy, Myron, all the Bulls, Tomlin, like all these little intricacies are drawn into making what you see right here is the Chiefs' face. And we also have the T-shirt version of the Penguins logo right here.
Wow, you can get nice...
that. That's not mine smoking, Jim.
Oh, is that an extra mic?
That's Chip.
Look at that penguin there.
So there's a lot of things that go into making that penguin too, but Chris Nix is a really talented local artist. I suggest that people go on Facebook and like him. Pittsburgh Sportsline, Brenner Contracting, and
did you forget anybody?
SIP Sports Bar, BPTV,
Bethel Park.
Yeah, they have their own.
Pittsburgh Sports Pride, because they've been promoting us all over the world. I'm telling you. Jim Kaiser said not to mention his name, but Pittsburgh Sports Pride's my hero there. And if you like us and you ask for a like, we'll like you back. Because that's how we do it. We respect people. We don't want all the fly-by-nighters that just want to use us for likes, because we may still like you anyhow, but we do like a like in return. So if you like us first, like Brenner Contracting, just like he said with all that. And SIP Sports Bar, just another great night. We had MMA on. Hank Hanasek, they're having Gladiators of the Cage on Saturday at like 7 o'clock or something. They have a great thing, Stage AE. There's like 5 bouts, MMA. Looks like a great contest there. Hank is the greatest. He was on the show. You have to check out the video that we'll be posting at shortly. Then we also had Trapper Tom. Thomas Lettergy was on, the ring announcer. And Mr. Puniverse made his debut on our show. All 369 pounds of him, 3% body fat. Just a great time on the show. And it's also trivia night every Sunday night. Monday night's Pittsburgh Sportsline. Tuesday night, shout out to the Campides, 50 cents a slice pizza. Go to Campides after our show. Tell them Pittsburgh Sportsline sent you. Wednesday night is Ladies Night with Smokin' Jim. They have happy hour drinks. There's free parking on the street, food specials. Thursday night's our wing night. We're going to have to head back there. Maybe this week I'll be there for some 25-cent wings. Friday night's entertainment. Same with Saturday. Check out Sip's Sports Bar. We've been packing the place. We have a PA system so you can hear us talking. Because Smoking Jim's the only one they hear across the street. And now they can hear us at least at the other end of the bar. And that's my update on Sip's Sports Bar. Now we go to one of my favorite segments, Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine. And I tell you what, I just got a text message from the love of my life. There's nobody.
Which one? Who?
There's nobody.
Mom.
There's nobody I respect more on this planet, and nobody that I love more other than my mom, than Miss Robin. She lives in Bethel Park now, and she's watching.
Is she watching?
She's watching us on TV.
Robin, you got to come on this show. It's Sips. Come on, finish that school. I know you got your doctorate now. Come on.
I'm so flattered and honored that she's watching. And I tell you what, my fiction and fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac goes way back to Saturday. I tell you what, man, Saturday night, for Friday I get a call, and for most people know that if I'm not working, I usually don't venture out because I seem to be always working, but Al Levine, the talking machine, got me out of my comfort zone a little bit. He talked me into riding down with him to Mountain Air to watch a professional boxing card with Paul Spadafore, who was undefeated and going for Rocky Marciano's record for
the greatest fighter of all time.
Greatest fighter of all time. One Italian breaking another Italian's record, and we get down there and Officer Drew has us in the media section, and we got the best seats in the house, and Little Z is there making sure that we're comfortable, man. And I tell you what, it was just good just to relax and enjoy some professional boxing. And unfortunately for Paul Spadafore, he lost a very, very close decision. It was his first loss since in probably 20 years. He's been a professional boxer for a long time.
He's 38 now, so.
Yeah, so, and that probably is going to kill $1 million, multi-million-dollar fight that they were setting up for his next fight. But afterwards, Elle and I went back to the backstage and to the locker rooms with Little Z and Paul Spadafore was we were trying to wait for him to come out. Interviews was going on with Tommy Ankello, who's the trainer, and he just so down in the dumps, but didn't stop Al Levine, the talking machine, from shaking his hand and getting a photo with Tommy.
Are you serious?
So it was good. It was a good time. The food was great down there, from what I hear, and
what food?
Hey, listen, I can't buy everything.
But it was a great time, and unfortunately Paul lost, but Roy Jones Jr. and those guys put on an excellent card. Wasn't that many controversial decisions. The judges did a great job, and we had a great time. And shout out to Liz Costa, who was there. She met Al. So it was a great time. So that's my fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Riding shotgun with my main man Al Levine, the talking machine.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. And since we don't have Chip, we're not going to have trivia time. We may just continue that West Virginia
let's
type
talk
of
about West Virginia.
trip. I had a great trip with my friend Smoking Jim Frazier. We talked a little bit about it last night, but going down there, we just had a great conversation. He was definitely out of his comfort zone because he wasn't working. He was like a fish out of water. He wasn't sure what to do. But we ended up making our way there, met a lot of great people. I had friends there. I want to shout out to Dan Rossman and a couple guys, 5 guys that were with him, and other people from Pittsburgh were there. We kept running into people and cousins of Paul and kids of Paul Spadafora and all the family and friends. Lightning Rod Salka was there. He was giving us some insights on some of the fights. Little Z was providing security. He was escorting people from front back, inside the locker room. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't keep track. Then I met some great guys. Tony DeFazio was there.
Yes, sir.
I like reading what he posts out there with Pittsburgh Sports Report. You know, it's a great magazine and paper that they put out. Then I met a Post-Gazette reporter. Saul was writing on the fight.
Who?
Saul.
I want to give a shout out to Kevin Gorman. I really like the work that Kevin Gorman does.
Great article.
Yeah, it was a great article. He's a great supporter of local boxing.
Who got better here, Kevin or Al? That's close. That's close, brother.
And then you throw Bill Phillips in there, now it's a triple threat match, you know. But
boy.
I'm gonna give the nod to Al Levine.
That's because I'm with you right now. I know when you're with those guys.
No, I'm on
Okay.
this.
All right. I'm just testing you, Z, since you're back only 2 weeks. Which paper do I give you? Here's these certificates that are out. Come on. Which one is it, buddy? Come on. I want to see that thing.
Hey, riddle me this.
Okay.
I didn't need any certificates to do whatever I wanted at Mountaineer Gaming and Casino on Saturday night, did I?
That's true.
Let me
That's
think.
true. That's true.
No.
No. So, hey, it's all good.
Neither did I. Smoking Jim will tell you we were getting thrown out of the place at the end of the night. Right, Smoking Jim? That guy didn't take a liking to Batman staying so long. He kept saying, Batman, you got to go. And I told Smoking Jim, we can't go yet. We got to go to the locker room. So, and we did have a great time. The interviews, we got to see the professionals in the media asking the right questions and everything. Some great interviews. I didn't see them on TV. But Tom Yankello just it was a class act after a very tough, hard-fought fight. And you know how I can do some talking and conversating. There was a judge that I was saying, how could the one judge have scored at 117 to 111? I thought Paul won 8 rounds. And he scored at 117, 111. So, and they go, that's the judge that scored it that way. So
Hey,
I
well,
guess you're entitled to your opinion.
I
so.
think it was a great night because for the first time in a long time, we didn't really have any kind of real actual responsibilities, and we got to really enjoy the fights. And I'm glad that you guys got to come in the back and get to see what I see all along and everything that builds up and goes up.
I didn't realize actually what you do. Now I still don't know. I can't figure it all out. I counted a dozen things he was doing. I could have sworn I saw him stitching up Paul in the dressing room because he disappeared. And shout out your co-host, Liz Costa. She's unbelievable. She said she's going to work on coming to our show, but she's been so busy. What can you do? So
She's a lady of her word, so I'm sure she'll be there eventually, and whenever she comes, it'll be right on time. She's a dynamite lady.
Since Paul lost, the focus in the city now shifts over to the 29-year-old champion, Lightning Rod Salka, who will be fighting December 14th on Showtime on the Adrian Bronner undercard. I look for Rod to, I've never seen him prepare better. He doesn't have all the worries and things going on when we put on the show around
he looks
here
lighter
locally.
now. No pressure on him.
Yeah, no pressure. Just had his daughter. So we're looking forward to December 14th at the Alamo Dome in Texas.
Yeah, and
Taking
I
it
heard a
out
rumor
west.
last night that I was trying to confirm with your brother. He goes, hey, you guys are welcome over for Christmas. I said, I think that's the 14th. Christmas must have changed in the mayor's house.
They celebrate 12 days of Christmas.
But
December 14th, if you're in Munhall and your friends, with BC or Pittsburgh Sportsline, you come to the mayor's house.
I'll be there.
You could watch the fight.
we don't know what time we'll get there, but I'm planning on being there. I'm clearing my schedule here.
It's going to be a good night. I'm really proud of Rod and all the work that he's put in. He's done it the right way, and there won't be a more deserving person if the things go the way I want them to go on December 14th. So
And
we're
he's
just going to
fighting
keep
for
preparing.
Golden Boy now.
So we're just going to keep preparing.
Can I say a little shout out?
Yeah, you better.
I want to give a shout out to my good friend Esther Nunez, who's celebrating a very important birthday Saturday, December 7th. And I'm sending Elle Levine a talking machine as a representative of our show to make the
What
appearance.
restaurant is that? Market Square. We gotta go.
So it's gonna be a great time. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it, but Elle, please
I'll try to fill in for you.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can handle that situation.
Tell
for
Miss
you.
Esther I said happy birthday.
Well, she'll get to hear it now. We'll have to post it.
I didn't get an invitation.
I'll work on
The
that.
beard's
Z.
coming back.
No, Z, that was before you had the beard trimmed up. They didn't know who you were. That looked like the mountain man.
I'd also like to point out, I think the Super Bowl is being played this year outside
Yes,
in New
it
York,
is.
correct?
Yes.
So if Peyton Manning does get to the Super Bowl, plays the Seahawks, I mean, I would have to assume that the Seahawks are going to be a huge favorite. But Peyton Manning's been playing out in Denver, and it's cold as ever out there in Denver. So, I mean, that would be a nice Super Bowl right now if the Broncos played the Seahawks in New York.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that Peyton had that surgery and they implanted those stem cells from Europe for him, because you can't get that in this country. He's able to play in cold now, and they said he never could. He was only
Well,
in
he's
the
still
dome.
1-6 in the cold, and Tom Brady in temperatures of 23 below. It right now is 25-6. So for some reason, Tom Brady's able to play in the cold. But when you videotape what the opponents are doing and practicing in the walkthroughs, I mean, it makes it real easy to make halftime adjustments out here.
Well, without Ray Lewis, now that Ray Lewis is retired, that may open the door for Tom Brady to go to another Super Bowl. And plus, if you go by the Houston Texans, Spygate is still alive and well. They are still in signals at halftime. Houston's winning 17-7, and they said it's almost like New England knew everything that they were doing.
Well, I heard they put in a new play, so it's almost impossible to
Almost
steal that.
impossible, and they still was able to do it.
Well, it just makes you wonder, since you're on the conspiracy thing, when you're guilty of something, why would they throw away the videos that you actually had
Right.
and just fine you? So just think about, that's enough.
They
But
should.
a couple plays in the Super Bowl versus the Giants, you know, the one where David Tyree catches the ball up
Yeah.
against his helmet, if things like that don't happen, they win another Super Bowl anyways, regardless. Well,
That's a big word.
Yeah.
If.
Well, we can
It's
go with some
always
ifs. If
remember-
Mendenhall doesn't fumble, the Steelers win another Super Bowl against the Packers. So,
Yeah.
and that's an if.
Yeah.
Always remember this when it comes to Spygate. And Al made a great point that what Roger Goodell did should have got him fired or at least publicly caned.
Whoa.
Listen, I believe that Spygate was worth 6 points in a football game. What they were doing, the stealing the signals, was worth 6 points a game. All their wins were by 3 points.
Wow.
You take away the Spygate, they lose by 3. All their losses in the Super Bowl was by 3 points.
And that's a gambler,
If you
buddy.
put
We're
Spygate
not
in,
condoning gambling, but here's a gambler.
They win by 3.
Makes you
So-
think.
It makes you think how good those guys are out in Vegas, though, because they're spot on. And I don't condone gambling either, but sometimes when you look at these betting lines and you see what the final outcome of the game is, it just makes you scratch your head like, holy smokes, like these guys are geniuses.
You know, I was all in on the conspiracy stuff because I've talked to you guys on and off air about this. But what was the team? Florida was playing, Georgia Southern, and they were underdogs by 4 touchdowns. And they won the game. So now I'm a believer that once in a while, the little guy can win.
Once in a while.
Well, don't forget about Appalachian State when they beat.
That's another
Michigan.
one.
But here, I got one. I got a trivia. Being that Chip's not here, I have a trivia
Let me have
question.
a tic tac. I'm
Yeah,
getting
there you
dry
go.
over here.
I
Waiting
got
to
a
talk.
trivia question for all you guys.
Thank you.
Who knows? There's the leading rusher in NCAA history is from Georgia Southern. Does anybody know his name?
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
What year? Go back in your time machine.
About 10 years ago.
Okay.
10
don't-
years
Or
ago,
less. Or 10 years or less.
the leading rusher in the nation.
He ran for almost 7,000 career yards. Record may never be broken. They ran a wishbone offense, and I thought he was going to be a star in the NFL, but
Didn't make it.
he made it for a few years. But I'll give you a hint. It looks like he's still playing.
I don't know.
Sproles.
Close, but he's not in the league.
It looks like.
the
All right, give us the
right,
answer.
leading rusher of
And you
all
can win
time.
another artist.
No, you ain't winning no more of that. But you can get a free Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Sportsline
You
magazine.
can get a free copy of this right now. I'll mail it to you or hand deliver it to you.
Leading rusher, college football history from Georgia Southern is none other than Adrian Peterson.
No way.
The Adrian Peterson played at Oklahoma.
Okay.
But before Adrian Peterson
okay.
Adrian Peterson ran for almost 7,000 yards.
Wow.
Never
Is he
did anything.
related?
Huh?
Any relative?
Cousin.
They're all cut.
Your cousins are missing you, buddy, with those no-shows. I'll see you, cuz.
You know, 2 security guards were fired in Houston for
Yeah.
taking a picture with Tom Brady after the game.
Really?
That just goes to show how petty, when things are going bad and teams are losing, you know, they fired 2 security guards in Houston for taking a picture with Tom Brady after the game.
Well, I remember one time Houston fired Bum Phillips because they couldn't beat the greatest football team of all time, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Couldn't kick the door down.
Yeah, Houston will fire you with the quickness. And Houston is the 4th largest city in America. I tell you what, if anybody likes to travel, get out to Houston, go to some Prairie View A&M games. It's an all-black school. You won't be disappointed. They wear Al Levine's purple.
Is Grambling back? Is Grambling back on the field yet?
Grambling's still forfeiting. No, no, they're back. They have their coaches. Matter of fact, I just talked to him last week. Hopefully, he'll get the job. Dennis Dirt Winston, former Pittsburgh Steeler, was the defensive coordinator this year of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and they gave him a call late in the year with a couple of games left and said, "We can't get the team to play. Can you come back?" He used to be the defensive coordinator, so he came in as interim coach. Got a win and 2 losses, so hopefully that's enough to get the job.
Would you recommend sending any of those Gateway top 5 recruits to Grambling to help them guys down there?
I recommend anybody can get a free education to go to Grambling. If it's a free education, before Doug Williams got fired, he called me and was guaranteeing me 4 to 5 scholarships in this area. Now, of course, I didn't know they didn't have running water and stuff at the time. But, you know,
You learn something later on.
but I tell you what, college education now is worth about $100,000 a year. And if you can get to Grambling down there in Louisiana, and you can suck it up and do 4 years, your life will change for you. A college education changed your life. I have a general studies major and never looked back. It changed my life.
I got a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks, so I guess that's priceless.
I'm not comparing my resume. Go to LinkedIn. You can see what I've done.
What's LinkedIn?
LINKED, capital I-N. That'll show your resume. I'll have to show you young puppies how to do some of that.
I told you when I bought my trip to Cal, folks, when I was asking about smoking Jim Frazier, and they're telling me about general studies, so we're not going to rehash in fiction and fact from little Z's on
That's more fiction there. That's more fiction. The facts were they know him. He knew the area.
Oh, no, they know him. They said, "Who do you think you are, smoking Jim Frazier?"
Yeah,
so
I just wanted you
they
to
know
clarify.
him too well.
Yeah,
they knew him all too well.
Right. They may have just tuned in late, you know, because they're watching the Penguins. We needed an update on that score. Where's Devin
Hope?
Shea?
Where's Hope?
I know. My sister Hope, she's watching us now because she's on Facebook, Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. We'll keep Hope alive. She was at Sip Sports Bar. She's too shy, unlike me, to get on the air, so she didn't come on. But she did say hello to you guys again. She had a great time watching us in action there. So
She was there last night?
No, last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for introducing us.
Where were you at?
I was there. The tape doesn't lie.
Well, you know what's funny is they're short. So I go, yeah, this is my 2 sisters here. You walked right by them because they were so small.
Al introduced. He's like, "Here's the son I never wanted," or something like that, and I just
Son I never wanted.
He
son
said
I
that-
never asked for.
You're the one that started that. I didn't start that. I just said he's the best young businessman that I've known recently in the last year.
Well, that's good because we're going for 2 years as soon as the bowl drops in 2014. So
When's that?
January 1st.
Okay, thanks. I got confused on the show. The lights are in my eyes. Look at that sheet there. They covered that one up. All right, we've been talking all kind of sports. Did we cover enough on boxing? We started to cover that afterwards. I know. What other
Well, a
boxing?
good friend of the show, Cian Dalton.
That's
the
what I wanted to
Irishman.
bring up. Yeah, because Mike McSorley, He gave me a great compliment. I was on the road, so when I get a message on Facebook, I can't answer it on my dumb phone, so I couldn't get back. So I saw we were invited tonight.
Tonight they're sparring over
They're
Calm Grab.
sparring. Rayco War Saunders is sparring. There's a guy that broke his leg on a gruesome video. He was running within like 6 weeks. Now he's sparring. It's just unreal within 3 months.
But seeing Dalton's fighting December 13th at the Serbian Center down there in West Virginia.
Where's that located at? I wanted to ask. You know.
Well, apparently it's a lot shorter.
Big Mike D might know.
It's a lot shorter. Croatian, Serbian, Czechoslovakian, Slovakian, Slovenian. It's a lot shorter of a distance.
Wow.
Before Mountaineer.
Okay, so it's closer.
It's closer to Mountaineer.
So what took Smoking Jim and I an hour and 8 minutes. We might get there in like
30 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe 50. You're right. You're probably right. If I can get there in 30
Well,
minutes.
from Bethel Park.
But I
They
encourage
got a
everybody.
basketball team there.
I encourage everybody to get down there. Yeah, the Harlem Globetrotters come through once a millennium.
That's 1,000 years for all of you uneducated.
Every 1,000 years. So they haven't made it there yet.
They haven't been around.
But they're
that
trying
long.
to break down the boundaries down there in West Virginia, as we did Saturday night.
And for all of our fans that maybe are watching the show, sometimes we run off the reservation because I don't know where they went.
We're talking about the chief.
Yeah.
Chief Fitch.
Yeah, what happened with... Here, I do have a question on boxing.
Shoot.
Now, I've been to many live events, but I've never seen 2 draws in a row.
That's a first.
And that I thought that was unusual. I wanted to save it for tonight because I didn't bring it up last night. You know, with the crowd we had, it was just super crowded, Sips. But if you guys ever see 2 draws in a row?
Me personally, no, I've never
Okay.
seen 2 draws in a row. And I think Morgan Big Chief Fitch is a good friend of mine, and I personally thought he lost that fight. Anytime you get knocked down 2 different times in 2 different rounds, I mean, in a 6-round fight, it's kind of hard to overcome. And then, you know.
I heard people talking as I was mingling through the crowd because I didn't want to sit in that meaty area with Smoking Jim because, you know, we were just at the top of the world sitting in that meaty area. You let us in, and we become friends with the security and the security from Zach Brenner and all the rest.
Couldn't get by unless you stepped over that rope, man.
Yeah, but I got right out of there. I was over in general admission. So I'm up there with, you know, everybody else where I normally would be. And we're like, the guy got knocked down 3 times. And they didn't stop the fight. Was there a referee in the ring for a while? Because I thought he left. Because something was going on there. And then I don't know how they scored that. It was just unreal.
Well,
2 draws in a row. Nobody even wrote up about that.
they're not going to, because things like that, you know, it just kind of makes you scratch your head. I thought Paul won that fight, me personally, like in my heart, not being biased or whatever, but I mean, he definitely lost his power after about the 8th round, but, you know.
Well, you were sitting in the media area with us, and you kept saying, what's going on? You better step it up.
And then, like I said, you guys told me after the fact that there was some kind of arm injury or something like that, but nevertheless, I thought, you know, he won enough rounds to win that fight and guarantee himself, you know, another good fight, and, you know, it was just pretty much just taken from him by some bad scoring, by some bad judges. 2 draws and 2 back-to-back fights. Morgan Big Chief Fitch lost that fight. Anytime you get knocked down twice in 2 different rounds in a 6-round fight, I mean, you would almost have to completely dominate. And he didn't even knock the guy down in the rounds to follow, you know, and didn't land that many shots in my opinion.
I wondered what fight you guys were watching because I know what I was watching. I was confused.
And like I said, I love Morgan, but sometimes, you know, life isn't fair, especially in the sport of boxing. You know, when you leave it in the hands of 3 strangers, anything can happen. So I teach my guys to, you know, knock them out or get knocked out instead of, you know,
because
I would rather
judges decide.
correct. I would rather get knocked out than leave it in the hands of 3 strangers to decide my fate. You know, at least I did everything I possibly could in there. And I'm sure a lot of guys, you know, second-guess themselves after the fight. Like, I could have did more. I should have did more. But Paul was fighting a tough guy, the kid from Venezuela.
I'll tell you what, he had all heart. The kid was bigger than him, younger than him. And Paul stayed right there the whole time.
Headbutted him.
I
He was
saw a
trying to
couple
catch
of
him with
those.
these flying elbows. And I know you said Paul was doing this thing with his Adam's apple or whatever, with his shoulder or whatever he was doing. But it just wasn't enough on that particular night. But like I said, I thought Paul did enough in that fight to not lose the fight the way that they had it scored.
I'm with you on it. I thought 8 was in his scorecard.
But I also don't like too, though, sometimes when fighters, when you have longer hair, anytime, once you perspire and stuff like that, and you might get hit in the gloves and your head moves, and then, it's all in the interpretation of the judges. And that's another problem that I have, because they might, when you're guarding and your head snaps back, man, and water flies off, man, they think, maybe that shot landed and it really didn't land or have any kind of effect. And I was actually surprised that those body shots that Paul was throwing really had minimal effect, maybe because his arm was hurt or whatever.
Well, that was a report in the Trib the next day that his left arm had been hurt, dislocated his elbow.
Well, then he's a monster, for going all 12 rounds against that 30-year-old kid, 8 years younger than Paul.
Well, here's another thing, since we're talking about, I don't know when the fight will be broadcast or rebroadcast, but the last 3 rounds, I saw something again. I don't know, I've watched a lot of fights, but this was odd. They were getting a towel and whipping that towel near him, holding his trunks out, and they had a big, bath towel to try to get him more oxygen. His mouth, he was sucking air like crazy.
Well, it wasn't for that. You see, they wet the towel up for Perez, because in Venezuela you can't drink the water, so they were so happy to have all that water, man.
See, I was confused.
He wanted to swim in that bucket, man.
I knew there had to be
something. He was enjoying his stay at the Mountaineer.
That's why the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, you can't beat this with a stick or anything else. Because I never in my wildest dream would think that a guy that can't keep his mouthpiece in, that he just was thirsty.
Did you see his trainer after the fight? He had a water popsicle, man. They was freezing.
He even said hi to me. He was speaking Spanish. So
really?
I don't know what was going on there.
Wow.
So
you could pass.
I thought you set me up for something.
You could pass.
And Smoking Jim was doing his thing. He was trying to get to the ring card girls because he said those 3 could be on our show.
I agree.
I was looking for Miss Ashley Mittensway. She must have had to work, because she's one of the top ring card girls for
TNT.
No, Roy Jones.
And Roy Jones,
because Roy Jones was in for HBO. He was up in Canada for the Adonis Stevenson fight. So we had no Roy Jones down at Mountaineer, so that was a little bit of false advertising for all the folks out there paying attention. Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, the pride of Youngstown, Ohio, was reasonably sober ringside for the fight. So I was really proud of the Ghost for holding it together. He embarrassed himself the last fight down there in West Virginia. Got to talk to Monty Meza Clay, a good friend of the show, Smoking Jim and I's.
I met him. He's a new friend of mine.
A new friend of ours. I was making all kinds of friends out here. You'd be amazed, You come out of Bethel Park, man, you can make all kinds of friends. I Smoking Jim, as soon as he started leaving God's country, man, got all kinds of friends.
Hey, little Z, the son that I never asked for, but I'm stuck with him here on the show. I've been out of Bethel Park a few times. I wasn't born in Bethel Park. I like Bethel Park, but I've been out in the Pittsburgh neighborhoods. Just this week, I hit 30 communities in one day.
Will Monty Meza Clay ever fight again?
The pendulum, the hourglass of sand that is running against Paul Spadafore is running against Monty Clay too.
Father Time.
Yeah, that's the one thing, Bernard Hopkins is obviously the exception to the rule, because that man is as tough as a $2 steak at how old is Bernard Hopkins? Like 50-something?
Not yet. He joins ARP when he turns 50.
He's really only
49 this year.
He's really only about 35 in boxing years, because he spent 15 years in a federal pen.
How's that work?
They don't call him the executioner for nothing. But that's neither here nor there. The past is the past.
But the shame of it is that Monty Meza Clay and so many great fighters here in Pittsburgh for years ducked for Quan to show Kimbrough, and that's the fight that everybody wanted to see. They wanted to see Monty Meza Clay and Vaquan Kimbrough, and it looked like both of them going to retire without fighting one another. And that's a shame, because they could have sold out any venue. It was that...
Maybe Pittsburgh Sportsline can host that venue. Get them together.
Yeah.
Monty looks like he's in great shape. When he shook my hand, he was carrying 4 bags of stuff. He looked as strong as could be.
Yeah, Vaquan cannot pass any physicals in the United States, so it would have to be out of this country. You know,
When do you want to travel? Get your
Vaquan-
passport.
Medically, Vaquan is probably in worse shape than his uncle Tony Dorsett.
It's never going to happen, but I think the problem is, and this is what happens though, is when they pad you up locally and that record gets stacked and that record gets padded against virtual nobodies, and then anytime somebody from here, moves up and steps outside of here, they just get completely annihilated and blown up on the beachhead like in Normandy. I mean, basically what it comes down to is, you got to fight people, and you got to start, you got to do what you do is you fight the best of the best. And if you don't want to fight the best of the best, then don't fight. Don't fight. There's no reason to fight then. If you just want to, pad your record, and, against nobodies, that's not boxing. There's no point in even doing it. It's just like a waste of time and energy.
Well, maybe it's a payday they need. It's tough to make money in boxing. They might just be going for the payday.
Well, I'll give you an example. Morgan Big Chief Fitch, he's from Louisiana. He goes down to Louisiana. He sells out whatever venue down there, just because he's Morgan Big Chief Fitch. He fights a guy
is he really Indian?
He fights a guy. That kid that knocked Morgan Big Chief Fitch down knocked out Andre Ward, but Andre Ward got back up. It was a longer fight, regained it, won the fight. But that kid knocked down Andre Ward. So Morgan Big Chief Fitch takes that fight for virtually less money and basically almost lost that fight when he could have just went down to Louisiana and got more money and fought virtually like a less harder of an opponent. Yeah. So it's the boxing is. You got to make the right moves at the right time, or you could kill your career.
Who's guiding these guys? That's the thing. Now we got to look at management there.
Well,
they can't be making all these decisions, right?
That's what we're working on right now, Brenner Contracting, because you might see Brenner Management, because we got fighters getting in touch from Toronto,
Brenner
Canada.
Contracting, Boxing Management.
True story. I got a guy in touch with me, a featherweight from Toronto, Canada, that wants to come down to Pittsburgh and wants to fight. I got a guy that just messaged me that's been out of fighting since 2008, has an amateur boxing record of 93-20. He wants to fight at 170 pounds. His name is Ben Williams. He's from Michigan. Wow. He wants to come in. So I could actually end up being like Customato, where I'm just going to start bringing all these guys in and housing them.
You'll have your own stable.
I'm going to have my own stable. So get ready, folks, because that's what's coming next.
Well, you can do that because in Homestead, there's a lot of slum landlords. You just be another one. Hi, Charlie Batch.
You guys are too much. He was being serious, Smoking Jim. You stole all his thunder there.
Hey, no, I mean, he's right. He's right. But the proof is in the pudding, and when Smoking Jim, starts to rank his fighters, and most of them have Brenner Contracting on their trunks. I don't know about Gateway, but they're going to say Brenner Contracting on their trunks. I mean, I don't know if you guys have paid attention to this, but if we listed like the top 20 fighters in the city, I mean, at least 10 of them have Brenner Contracting on their trunks, Rayco wants to. He's hesitant, but one day, maybe we could bridge that gap and get Brenner Contracting on your shorts, Rayco. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm really trying really hard. I'm reaching out, so maybe that's something that we could get done in the future. Now that you're sparring, I would be there right now if I wasn't here. So I would go over there. It's always funny when we get that invite from Mike that there's something going on that we have to do.
He's hit. Nobody hits 100%. We got to get him a job with the Pirates. Yeah. He could be the batting coach because all you got to do is set up a couple boxers.
Well, maybe he did get 100% tonight. Maybe Chip is there representing.
No, Chip was stuck in Greensburg when I talked to him.
Greensburg. Okay.
Yeah, and he had to get back to his office. So we missed the Chip.
I think we only got about 5 minutes to go.
Do we? Well, anything with Whitfield football, buddy? What's going on there? I heard there's 3 teams that survived.
North Catholic is still in it. The team that is right now representing Clareton's spot right now, keeping the seat warm.
Well, as I predicted when I said that South Fayette would upset Aliquippa, one of Aliquippa's best teams. They're still blowing everybody.
Are they?
Oh, with that brown ball.
They got the Peyton Manning of high school football.
Where do you have him? Where do you have him
He's
rated?
the only junior. He's the only junior in the top 30 seniors. That's how good he is.
You
Hey,
folks
Zach,
need to go.
Show that on the air, that column.
Hold on.
If you
I
can
can
find
find it.
Smoking Jim, what page is that?
Oh, here we go. It's on page 6 of Pittsburgh Sportsline, the magazine.
Will you show
That
that?
you can
Because
pick
that's
up-
the most controversial page that I've
That you
run
can
into.
pick up for free all over the greater Pittsburgh area
In over 300 plus locations.
and over
Yes,
300 plus locations.
We just hit that today.
We hit it in God's country today.
300
hard.
plus. Smoking Jim went up to, where's the place where Aaron Jensen is?
The Racket
doesn't
Club.
Say the Racket Club. Go there. That was 301 today, and then I did 30 more.
I know we're running out of time, folks, but I
Yes.
would also like to point out this. Smoking Jim's top 30 seniors, he has Brett Brumbaugh listed at number 17, but he's quick to point out that he's a junior. Well, why would you put out a top 30 seniors list and list a junior at number 17?
I'm the editor. Let me explain this.
Okay.
When you do cut and paste, sometimes there's a couple errors. Sometimes they slip past the editor. Okay? I'll tell you because I protect my man. That's my brother from another mother. When you're cutting and pasting, I didn't teach him the advanced course.
What, plagiarism 101?
No.
We know this isn't, we know only the top 5 are not plagiarized.
Let me go back.
The top 5
Oh,
players.
Z. Time out a second. Wait, here's what happened. He used 3 articles that he had because he blogs. I don't know if you guys go to Slick Move Guide. This guy's blogging. He's writing articles.
What about doing moving work and moving jobs?
No, none of that. It explains how you do that. Call Brenner Contracting.
I'm sorry.
They'll be the truck. We got to get a focus here. We're almost done with the show. I think we got 3 minutes to go by my clock. John the Tiger Kiger is going to confirm that. Look he gave me the thumbs up. 3 minutes to go.
But it is a great article in the Pittsburgh Sportsline the magazine, all joking aside. Smoking Jim Frazier probably has 2 of the better articles in here. So I highly suggest people picking it up and reading it. Smoking Jim hasn't read his articles since he typed them, but they are in here. They are available. They are free.
He got it in by the deadline.
He got it in by the
That's
deadline.
all that counts. And what I like is, right or wrong, I get more feedback, good and bad, on his article alone. Let alone I have a doctor in there, Dr. Chris. There's a TV media star talking about drugs in sports.
Wow.
Check that article out. Trapper Tom wrote a great article.
Yes, he did.
Bob Middleman wrote a great article on the Pirates there. So we're covering a lot of bases. Look for more articles in the next magazine. And you got anything you want to promote here, Little Z?
Yeah, I do.
You got a
in
sheet
your,
there.
In your free time, Smoking Jim Frazier, with all your properties and all your places, Batman, if you could ever just look at this list, there's a lot of great services that Brenner Contracting offers from head to toe. I would just
I got a building downtown Pittsburgh, and you're going to be our official.
I can't find it. I've been looking for it. Hey, I did want to present this. This is for our friends at KSWA. They got their 2013 Fan Fest. That's another event on December 7th.
Wow.
That's Saturday. Doors open up at 6:45. That's 120 51st Street, Lawrenceville. All of you know, look at the map in Pittsburgh Sportsline. You'll see where Lawrenceville or somewhere. You can find God's Country, Monroeville's there. But we got events like that. Don't forget the MMA with Hank Hanasek. They're there with Fractured. He got his sports gear. They'll be down at stage AE. Make sure you can attend there. Anything else, Little Z? Another 20 seconds or so. What else?
I just hope everybody had a great holiday, a great Thanksgiving. I'm happy to be back. I'm grateful for so many things. Happy to be here talking to all you folks about sports and goofing off here every once in a while. Shout out to Dave Cable for continuing to edit me with his great edits. On the
Finally,
shows.
you saw it, Dave. It took 2 months, but he was in plumber school. Thanks, Z. Smoking Jim, what are you doing where you can't be to Esther's party at Nola's, I think?
Well, I'm
that is.
emceeing the 38th annual Willie Stargell MVP banquet. Flying in my main man, Greg Lloyd, will be my co-MC. And also I'll be getting help with 4-time Super Bowl champion Larry Brown. He just gave me a commitment for it today. So Larry Brown.
Larry Brown
Greg
from Neil
Lloyd.
O'Donnell?
No, not that Larry Brown.
No, he was out of sports. The Steeler.
Okay.
Steeler, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. And unfortunately, I don't think the Steelers will go past 7-9 this year. I think they're ready to quit.
All right, thank you. I don't think the Steelers are quit. 4 to go. They can do it. They're going to win. I don't even know how. Who's the offensive lineman? Who's the center? I don't know. But thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching us every Tuesday through Saturday, 7 o'clock to 8 on Verizon 32 in the greater Pittsburgh area. Of course, Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook.